Hi, everybody. Welcome to Season 4 of Watch or Not with Jay and MJ. I'm Jay.
I'm MJ.
So here's the thing, you guys. So already, this is where I start. This is how I do things. So for those uninitiated, we are taking a technological step this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Explain, because I don't know anything about it.
All right, so we have for the last 2 years now, because we started in 2021.
Yeah, 2 or 3. This is year 4.
We have been recording a weekly podcast where we review new TV shows or media, and we've been putting it out on places where you can listen: Spotify, Apple, Google.
That is
podcast.
a long way of saying it was a podcast, audio only.
But we are now stepping into video.
Yeah. I love it. And I know I give you shit, but you are. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm putting this as not safe for children.
Yeah, great. Awesome.
I know all those things required. I got it.
And I know I give them a lot of shit, but this whole setup, I could not have done it, even though I have like a degree in television production.
Which is funny.
I don't remember any of this shit. Like I'm like,
soundboard, timer, lights, camera.
My knowledge is fully out of date. But yes, so we review new TV shows. And sometimes we delve into some things that are a little like older, but we've kind of scratched that out because we find it to be weird. But that's what we do.
The only things that are really older now is we haven't had one in a very long time, is our binge or hot off the binge.
Yes.
Where we actually go back and find a show that was like binge worthy, but it's got a couple seasons in.
Yeah, it got hard to watch a lot of TV, you guys.
It did, because binging like 5 seasons at once sucked.
Yes, a lot. So we thought, it's been a few years, so for those who are listening on audio who have heard us before, obviously they know who we are.
Exactly.
But you know what? It is okay if we kind of like reintroduce ourselves, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Personally. So for me, I think the best way to do this, really, how to go about it. So my hands are coming out all of a sudden.
You talk with your hands, and you like the reaction. Like you said earlier, like I like a reaction.
I
Hello.
Do like a reaction shot. I'm like, I feel like I should be glamour shots in here. But I think that for people to understand what our TV personalities are,
mm-hmm.
Say like 3 things about yourself, or say 3 TV shows that have really defined, your TV watching. I think that's what we did on our very, very first episode. I feel like we did that.
God, I don't remember half of these.
But it could change. It evolves. You evolve. You
True.
Change, hopefully for the better. Sometimes, actually, you know what? Evolving for the better is. Sometimes it'd be nice to be a little villainous.
Have a little backbone. Stand up for yourself. I like it.
I mean, that's not where I was going with that, but okay. I'm talking like murder. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I'm talking slashing a tire, maybe,
You haven't done that before?
I really want to. It's one of my things that I want to do.
Before you die, you want to slash a tire?
Yes. So what would you say would define your TV personality?
Ooh, my go-to is going to be anything comedic, sitcom-y. I grew up on, watching things with my dad during the summer, and I've enjoyed like Big Bang now and like How I Met Your Mother and kind of sitcom-y things. But I have to say I've really enjoyed some of the dramatic ones that we've watched from Apple TV Plus, like Severance.
Yeah.
So I've grown into liking some more of the dramatic and kind of artsy stuff now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if you had to name like a show or 2 that were like besides Severance that like you've already named a show or 2. I obviously wasn't listening. This happens a lot, you guys.
The other one is Supernatural. Obviously, that's the go-to.
I know. I would think I was waiting for that to pop up.
Yeah.
Honestly. So for me, and I'm going to reference this show.
Almost every episode.
Referenced this show.
There are 2 shows you reference almost every single.
I referenced a lot, and one of them really did define me because as this show, being like a gay Black kid, being able to like escape into things that are a little bit more fantasy, that a little bit more fanciful.
Okay.
But Buffy the Vampire Slayer, hands down, best show I've ever watched in my entire life, will be the best show I've ever watched in my entire life. And
do you still rewatch it?
Oh yeah, I mean at least once a year.
Okay.
I'll pull it out and rewatch. I've got to the point now to where there are definitely some ones that I skip in season 4. season season four. Season four had one of the best episodes of that show ever, but also some of the worst episodes ever.
Look, again, that's where people will learn about this the more they watch
Yeah,
us.
yeah. So that one to me, I think really, I loved anything that was like sci-fi, fantasy,
Yeah, I get that.
fiction, anything that was like that where people could be powerful, in like that really like resonated with me.
Fair enough.
But the show that I reference a lot that has nothing to do with my TV watching personality, I just do it, is Friday Night Lights. Clear Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose, just because that's something that's fun to say.
It's catchy, and it had a lot of cute guys for you.
It didn't. Like,
Really?
Kyle Chandler was it for
Michael
me.
B. Jordan?
But that was Michael B. Jordan pre-Marvel, which I'm not saying that he
But
wasn't attractive then.
Wasn't he?
but
Did he put the muscle on in Creed?
I
Wasn't that
don't
the first
know.
one?
I don't know, but they were
Okay.
also playing like 17-year-old kids. I know they weren't
Mm.
17-year-old kids, but I
Fair
was like,
enough.
"Nah." But I will say Tim Riggins from that show. I forgot his real name. But I do reference that show. But that's for me. Like I love things that are off the that are
Yeah,
just weird and can't be explained for some way.
I get
But
that.
but
And that's kind of what drew me to Supernatural, I think, too.
yeah, yeah, which I liked Supernatural too until they decided they wanted to be on the air for the foreseeable future.
God, for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. So now that you know a little bit about us,
Okay.
I think we should usually docket, which I'm always bad about.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss some of the things that we've watched over the break.
Which, for those who don't know, we've had a break. We stopped recording maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago for the
For
holidays.
Christmas, New Year's, we need a break. So we are going to talk about some of the stuff we've watched over break that are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to go into our TV party of 3, which will focus on heist / anti-hero
Mm-hmm.
TV shows.
Not to be, mixed up with Taylor Swift's anti-hero.
I still haven't heard that song, and I won't. I won't. I won't do it. If I'm on TikTok and I hear like I'm like swipe
Wow.
done.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it, and here's why. Sorry,
We have tangents.
I
We have
would-
lots of tangents.
I don't want to listen to it, and here's why. Because I know that I'll
God.
because I know I'll like it. And
Probably. It's a catchy song.
don't tell me that. So I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it because I really did. I really put all my shit aside and listened to Folklore. Was it Folklore?
I believe that's the other one. That's
And
big.
I found that to be. I was like, okay, this to me is I enjoyed.
Yeah. I get that.
But whatever. That's neither here nor there. Whatever that means. So we'll do our TV party at 3, and then we're going to go into our review of Kaleidoscope.
Netflix original.
Yeah, Kaleidoscope. So let's start off with some of the things that we've watched over the break.
Okay.
Have you watched anything over the break?
A couple things actually. I started watching The Witcher.
See,
Which I'm behind. I know.
no, I it's not that. It's the fact that I want to get back into watching it, but I know that Henry Cavill,
That they're taking him away, just like they took him away from Superman.
God, that hot man. Like,
Random side comment about that. I think I heard that him, Cal Cadet, and Ben Affleck are suing WB because of loss of work.
maybe they should.
But yeah, I would say Witcher's one of the big ones.
Mhm.
I have. Oh my gosh, I started watching at your recommendation, The Traitors.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
And then there's been a couple small things. So twice a year, there's this YouTube Twitch channel that's called Games Done Quick, but they do charity events where they raise money for Prevent Cancer and Doctors Without Borders. So they've had that over the holidays, one of their events.
Okay.
So I watched that over the holidays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna
Charity. Oh God.
I'm gonna start with something that's very weird. Not weird.
Okay.
But I randomly found it. So I got a free trial of Showtime over Christmas for whatever reason. I don't remember why.
How did you get one? I don't know.
Because you just thought up and say I want a free trial, or you create a different email address that you don't use so you can sign up for the free trial.
I've done that. Fair
That's
enough.
some old school bullshit.
Fair enough.
I don't know how I did it, but I forgot why I got it,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm being honest. However, I did find a couple things on it. I was like, oh my gosh. One of them was this show called I Love That For You.
Okay.
And it's got Jennifer Lewis, which if you know who Jennifer Lewis is, you probably wouldn't because she is a black actress. And she is like, she's been around longer than Angela Bassett.
Jennifer Lewis. I probably know her.
She is amazing, first of all. I love
Okay.
her. But she's in it. I listened to a podcast that I told you about called Las Culturistas.
Yeah.
Matt Rogers is in it.
Oh.
Matt Rogers actually played a voice of one of the characters in Q-Force on Netflix.
Yes.
I think he's more a writer person, a
Okay.
writer, comedic writer, and a couple people who it has Calvin from Greek
What?
randomly in it. It's got Molly Shannon in it. Like it's got like
How have I not heard about this
the main
show?
character, I don't remember her real name, but I've seen her around. But it's basically about this woman who who wants to be like a presenter on basically HSN, but it's called SVN on this show.
Okay.
And Jennifer Lewis is like this hard ass like uh show producer,
Mhm.
and Molly Shannon is like the big star on the network. But what she
Okay.
does is she's about to get fired, so she tells everybody she has cancer,
Oh
which
god.
she did when she was a kid.
Yeah.
But she tells everybody that her cancer is back to keep her job, and then like hilarity ensues. So
I need to watch
it's
this.
kind of funny. And then speaking of Matt Rogers, I
Mhm.
watched he had a Christmas special called "Have You Heard of Christmas?"
What?
And I was
What?
like, I started watching it, and I was like, this might be a little bit out of my realm. And then an hour later, I was like, this was fucking stupid, and I actually really loved it.
So
I'm gonna have
is
to
that
show
on
you.
Showtime as well?
Yes, and it's just about him. Like, there's like some little skits worked in there where he wants to be the pop prince of Christmas, and he's like, "We have to get Mariah Carey to dub me the pop prince of Christmas."
Oh my
And he has all these
god.
made up songs. I'm going to show you afterwards, but I was very pleasantly surprised.
So random tangent here. You remind me. There's one movie I watched over the holidays after we stopped recording. And it was from last year, but it was called "Slay All the Way," or no, or "Single All the Way." But it's a
Yeah, I
gay.
watched that. Yeah,
Okay, you've seen that movie on
duh.
Netflix. Um, I had not seen this till this year,
Oh,
and I don't know how A, we never talked about it, but B, my favorite line was where like
Jennifer Coolidge.
one of the friends like downstairs and he's like fixing the heater and the dad's like, "Where'd you learn all this?" Mostly YouTube and H&G Network. Is that the homosexual and gay network? And the friend just
Uh,
goes, "Yeah, kind of."
yeah, no, I because we don't really do movies.
Yeah, I
We're
know, which is
we're TV podcast. We decided that it was weird. Remember?
to throw in movies.
Yeah, it was weird. But the other show that you guys, if you have not watched this show, I need everybody to go back and watch it. The Traitors.
Okay.
And little background: The Traitors was actually, I believe it started in the Netherlands. Like the Dutch version is the first version.
Oh, so this is the third version that's been going on.
There's a fourth. Well, so they have the Dutch version.
Yes.
There is an Australian version.
Okay.
There was an United Kingdom version, and the USA version
What?
just dropped a few days ago on Peacock. And The Traitors is basically this mix of, it's really kind of like Among Us. That's kind of the best way to really explain it.
The concept is really cool.
Yeah. So it's like they get these 20 people together and they say, okay, so you all are going to have these daily missions, daily challenges,
Hmm.
where every day you all as a group are trying to earn money and put it in this pot.
Yes.
At the end of that day, the first day, what happens is the host of the show, which in America it's Alan Cumming, who fully love,
I
and
respect the choice.
yeah, in the British version it was Claudia Winkleman, I believe, and she was fucking amazing.
She was vicious from the ones I watched.
I loved. Oh no, she's like kind of like a cool, like she's really cool the way she
Okay.
mixes her hosting, but she picks 3 traitors,
Yes.
and the other 17 people are all faithfuls. So she picks 3 traitors. No one knows who they are, but the traitors know who each other are. And
Mhm.
every night, these 3 traitors get together and they murder a member of the faithfuls.
Yeah.
So the next morning, when they come down for breakfast, somebody's not there, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this person got murdered," what have you. So they go and they do their mission. They come back, and then at the round table, the remaining people get around the round table and discuss who they think the traitors are, and then they vote and banish someone from the group. And then after that person is banished, they have to stand up in front of everybody and say whether they're faithful or whether they're a traitor.
Mhm.
And if they're faithful, then obviously the faithful have just cast out one of their own numbers. But
Exactly.
the main goal is like at the very end of the show, if there is a traitor left, then the traitor takes all the money. Either if there's a traitor or traitors,
Yeah.
they take all the money from the faithfuls.
Okay.
So it's so cool. It's so cool. The difference between the American one though, the
Mhm.
American put 10 reality show stars in there, which I was like, I've watched an episode and I don't
It's a little much.
I don't immediately hate it. And they have like so like the music in this one is so much louder, and I'm like, I think it's because I think it's because in the British version,
Mhm.
they were 20 regular people.
They were,
And you could
yes.
tell that the people that they have on the American one, the reality show people, are the ones who are talking the most because they're reality show people.
Well, and having watched recently, like the first episode of the British and
Hmm.
now the first episode of the American,
Hmm.
you could tell they were trying to like almost shot for shot and the look of the castle, like
Not
them walk.
almost. It is the same castle.
Oh, okay, that's what I was
It
wondering.
is. That's the thing I'm worried about is because it
Okay,
is the same castle. And that mission they did in the
yeah.
first episode, that was the so they're repeating all the same missions.
Oh
So to me,
no.
I was like, oh, this might be boring for me because I just watched the British
Which I
one.
haven't finished the British one, so I might just switch to the American and
Like
watch the
you
American.
know the British, no, keep watching the British one. You know
Okay.
have you gotten to the Buried Alive
No, I'm
one?
like on the second episode of the British out of the so I'm
Oh,
not very far in, but like I understand that like what you're referencing.
yeah. I think they're doing it in different orders, but the missions are
Okay.
the same. It is the same castle, which makes sense because Alan Cummings
Yeah.
is Scottish.
Okay, I was wondering because it looked dead up just like it.
It is the castle.
Okay.
So I think that's. I mean, the BBC. If you're not in, obviously, if you're not in the United Kingdom, you can
Hmm.
find the British version. You can find all the other ones on YouTube, and that's where I watch them. Just be careful when you're searching because some of them are titled like "This person gets found out," and I'm like, oh great. But watch it. It's so good. It's so good. So I don't immediately hate the American one, but I'm on board.
Okay.
Yep.
I need to keep watching the American. I'm at the point where they're about to kill off the first person in the first episode. Like they just done the challenge where they lit the beast and they're
Yes.
back at the castle, and so the
The three
traders are about
traders
to meet each other.
or just about to meet each
Yeah,
other.
that's where I'm at.
That's what kills me. It's like how they pick the traders. Alan Cummings just walk around the circle, walk around the round table, and then just like tap. And then that scares me because for me, and they're almost like the table is so full, they're almost shoulder to shoulder at this
I would
point.
be scared you tap somebody else. You would feel it or
I feel like
something.
I would like jump or something is what I feel like I would do. But
Well, Cody and the other guy,
Christian,
they both had that little smile, like, yes, this is what I wanted.
I don't think Cody did. That Christian guy wanted it,
Yeah.
which I'm already annoyed by that guy, and you'll find out that the others are really annoyed by him as well.
Oh my god. Okay.
But the traders you have to. I
It's
will
really
say,
good. It really
yeah,
is.
like the American version, it all dropped on Peacock. But I'm telling you that if you really want like a really good like exposure to this show, the British version, and again, I only have the British version to go
Yeah.
off of. I was on the edge of my seat.
I didn't realize until now that I never looked into it, that there was like a Netherlands and another
Yeah,
country in.
Australia, Netherlands, and Australia, and then there may have been others, but those are the only three I know about.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, moving on to Party of Three.
Hey, you guys, it's time for TV Party of Three. So let's discuss how this is going to work. TV Party of Three. We figured this out toward the end of season 3 of our podcast,
Mhm.
and basically
Yeah.
what it is we take our show that we're reviewing and we say, oh, you know what? This show reminds me of this show or this show or this
Mhm.
show. So we kind of take a category and we say, well, if this show is a TV show that's based on a comic book hero,
Yep.
what are your three favorite TV shows that are based off comic book heroes? And that's what TV Party of Three is. It is like, we're serving up three shows
Mm-hmm.
that remind us
Or have some
of,
similarity too.
yes, that inform upon,
Yeah. I like it.
the show that we're reviewing. So this week was a little difficult, if I'm being honest.
It was hard to figure out what was like similar or like the topic to go with.
Right, correct. We're doing a cop out, so we said heist slash anti-hero TV shows because
Yeah.
Kaleidoscope is, as we'll talk about later, is a heist.
It is.
And when I was like, oh, heist TV shows, got it. And I was like, I've never seen any of these TV shows.
I don't watch any of them. I'm sure you don't as well.
None.
Like nothing.
The only one that actually popped up on this list as one, I was like, that makes sense to me, but it really isn't even there. I'm going to talk about my Party of Three.
Okay.
But we were like, the main character in the show is kind of like an anti-hero. An anti-hero is
Mhm.
anybody who wants to do something illegal, but you root for them,
Yeah, exactly.
right? So I think that's what we decided to structure our TV Party of Three around.
Mhm.
Heist slash anti-hero shows in no specific order.
Yes, these are not like ranked like top 3 in
Right.
that specific order. Like these are just the 3 that stood out to us that meet this category.
Right. So number one, go.
Dexter.
Dexter was on my list actually, and I really. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
No,
I'm taking it from you.
it's just it's one of those ones where I mean, this is the premise of a serial killer who only kills serial killers. Like he's doing better. It's the whole
Right.
like architect of how he's built with his dad's laws and
Mm-hmm.
rules.
Mm-hmm.
You just cheer for him to do well and to like take care of like cleaning up the world and making it a better place.
Yeah, but then there's the whole moral thing of like, but it's murder.
Yes, but he's literally killing almost someone per episode and an overarching one by the end of the year.
Yeah. So I agree. I think Dexter really is one of those
Hmm.
one of the weirder anti-hero TV shows where it really isn't like where to me immediately you think of like I think you think of anti-hero you immediately think of like Sopranos or something like that. Where I guess they did murder people, but
Yes.
not like I don't think Tony Stark was doing it himself every single episode, like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So there is the whole morality part of it. But I was Dexter was definitely the first one that I thought of that I was like, I enjoy that.
The moment we said anti-hero, I was like Dexter.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Who would your second one be?
So this one was a toss up, and I see how it can be classified as this. I actually like Googled a list of like TV shows
Yeah,
that have been classified as anti-hero. But The Mandalorian was one that popped up, and I actually see it, but I'm not 100% on board as an anti-hero.
yeah, I'm not either.
But the fact that it was classified by Google, I'm gonna go with it and say,
Cop out.
well, because all the other ones,
It's fine.
I never finished one of
Just
the other ones.
just do it. It's fine.
My other choice at this point was Mad Men, but I never finished it. So I feel like Mandalorian because I've actually watched the whole thing.
Okay,
I
well,
can speak more to it.
okay. I like the Man. I'm not saying I don't like the Mandalorian. I'm just
Well, but
you
again,
know.
he's a bounty hunter. He does things for pay. He'll kill, capture, retrieve,
Mhm.
whatever. So he's not really a good guy, but he does. You root for him because he takes care of Grogu, and he is the main character alongside or co-main character.
Yeah.
So like, it's one of those ones where like, okay, what he does is morally gray,
Yeah.
but he's still someone you root for.
Okay. I would say for me, second, this is the one that is like a heist, but also kind of anti-hero in a way, and it's Prison Break.
I've never seen it.
Now, Prison Break season 1 and 2, great.
Okay.
But for those of you who don't know, Prison Break was like early 2000s, and
Yes.
it was a show about these brothers. One of them went to prison for something he didn't do. I
Okay.
think it was murder or something, whatever, blah blah blah. And his brother was basically was like an engineer or something, create this big elaborate plan to
Mm-hmm.
get himself thrown into the same prison that his brother was in,
Yeah.
and then orchestrate from the inside a prison break.
Oh.
So as they go along, they end up adding people to this, because it's like me and my brother are gonna
Okay.
break out of prison. And then as he gets to know people, he's like, oh, this guy, I can't not bring him along. Or this
Mm.
guy who used to like torture kids or women or something
Mm-hmm.
found out. So we kind of have to let him, come with us,
Yeah.
even though he's a reprehensible person. So it's like
So we don't get found out, kind of
right,
thing.
right. Like
Yeah.
it was really cool. It had this big like one of the bigger things I remember the most about it was starring Whitworth Miller.
Hmm.
One of the things I remember the most was like his brother was like, well, how are you gonna get us out of here? And he's like, took his shirt off and he has tattoos. And he had this big elaborate tattoo down his arms, around his stomach, all
Yeah.
around his back. And it had the plans or the map of the prison worked into his tattoo. Like that was how he like
Oh
figured
my
out how to get it
God.
without bringing anything in.
Yeah.
So
And the guards didn't notice?
they knew the tattoo,
Yeah, yeah.
but the tattoo was covered like it would look like a demonic tattoo, but it was like
So unless you like actually really analyze it, you wouldn't have
probably
picked
one
it
of
out.
those pictures where you like where you do this little number.
Like, don't focus directly, just like
Yeah.
kind of like make your eyes blurry.
That to me was one of like the first second episode were really 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 good. I
Okay.
actually really enjoyed that. So
I might have to go back and watch it then.
yeah, you will third.
You're not gonna like my answer.
Okay,
Rick and Morty.
I just don't know what it is.
Exactly. That's what you just don't watch it. It, it's hard to explain concisely if you've never really watched it.
Uh huh.
But it's just like a cartoon where a grandfather and his grandson go through space, time, other worlds, and have antics week to week. Um, Rick is really the anti-hero. He's kind of like the drunkard and given up on life. He doesn't give a shit about his family. Um, But with Morty, he kind of starts realizing there's some morality there, and he starts like coming back around. But he doesn't care if he kills, he doesn't care if he blows up an entire universe, another world. Like he'll do whatever feels right for him. So like Rick is 100% the anti-hero and kind of one of the main characters of the show. But it's hilarious and comedic week to week. But there's overarching like retribution and like saving who he is towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I got it. I don't think I'll watch it, but great.
It's
Good for
funny.
you.
It's
Have fun.
comical, and there's meme culture around it.
It has to be one that's been around that I haven't watched, but it's on my radar. For me, I think I can't not have a list of anti-hero TV shows without mentioning Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad. Or Breaking Bad. How do you say break?
Breaking. I hadn't finished it, so I didn't want to add it because I can't talk to it fully.
But if you enjoy it,
I do. It's a great show.
I didn't finish Prison Break because it got shitty, but it's still.
Well, I haven't even finished season 1 of Breaking Bad. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
So I think Breaking Bad is obviously to me, and I didn't put Sopranos on the list because the reason being like I watched Sopranos like years after, and I didn't like. I liked the show a lot. I thought it was great. I loved Dre DiMatteo, who was in the show. I just think for me, it isn't one that I like continuously like think about. It's not a show that I'm like, ooh, you should watch this, which I guess I do in a way, but not as much as the ones that I just mentioned.
I get you.
So Breaking Bad to me though is, I think, and this might not make this, I don't have this opinion, but I think Breaking Bad actually surpasses Sopranos as like one of the best anti-hero TV shows out there, honestly. I think it's
okay.
I think it is above it, but that's also my opinion because I just enjoy Breaking Bad more.
I've heard more people have positive things to say about Breaking Bad than Sopranos. I feel like that's a universal opinion.
Yes, I agree. And it also ties in because Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh yeah,
because that was like the second show I thought of. Honestly, was Breaking Bad because I was like, oh, of course, Giancarlo Esposito, one of my favorite, portrayals of his, specifically. So, but I thought that obviously
also in The Mandalorian, by the way.
Yes, also The Mandalorian. Good job there. But I don't think I need to explain why Breaking Bad is one of the best ones. It is.
No, and I agree. It's just I didn't want to put anything on the list I couldn't speak to, like of why I thought it was a good show.
It's just a good show.
It is. From what I've seen, it is a very good show.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, TV Party of 3. Nice job, sir.
Thank you.
So I think it's time for our weekly review. All right, everybody. So it's review time.
All right.
So this week we're reviewing. Oh, I took it from you. Usually, so we're all backwards now.
Well, we're also like on other sides. It's really weird.
Yeah, this is really weird.
But yeah. So our review this week we're looking at Netflix original Kaleidoscope, which is extremely interesting because it's the first show that's ever been made that you can watch in almost any order. There's only 2 restrictions. A, black starts everything, and white ends everything. Right. All the rest can be watched in any order to fill in kind of some of the information. But it's a cool concept, and I think it was a cool way to like approach the show.
Right. The concept itself I thought was intriguing. That was part of the reason why we were like, we'll give this a shot. We'll see.
Well, and the cool part is that we did watch, like, so Netflix actually arranged per actual account different ways to watch it. So we actually watched it in different orders.
Right. So usually the way this works, we really try to stay away from, super spoilery things. Like we try to keep it like, we don't want to spoil any big plot points unless I hate the show. And I say I hate the show.
Then we just rant about it.
He doesn't even get to have a vote in that. If I hate it, I'm going to spoil everything. He might love it, but I'm going to spoil it because I hate it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's really only been the one. The one that I hated so much that I loved, and it was Stargirl. That show, still to this day close to my heart. But,
oh my God!
But we're going to try to like. I think this is going to be a little difficult for us. This is going to be new,
yes,
because usually we can go through the series and talk about it, but we can't really do that because you've watched it in a fully different order than I have.
Exactly.
So I think we could agree if there is one really main plot point that we don't want to spoil.
Yes,
and as long as it's different from that, I think we're good. So first off, cast.
Yes.
Who's in this show?
And the way we started things for people who are new to this show, we'll go through cast and crew first, and then kind of jump into the plot of the show.
Yeah.
So first off, our main character is Leo, played by your loving. No, you do like a lot of his shows.
I mean, can you leave me alone though? I mean, why you gotta be it like that? Like, why is it gotta? It sounds like a dig. It sounds like you're like, ugh, whatever. Calm down. Giancarlo Esposito, who, if you all do not know, not just shows, has been around for a long time. I'm talking Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee.
Yep.
I'm talking School Days.
Yep.
Another Spike. Like those are movies, obviously, but like
The Boys.
mid late '80s. Boys to Men, not Boys to Men. I'm sorry, Boys in the Hood. He's around. He's been around a lot. Was he in Boys to the Hood?
I don't remember that one, but like I said recently he's been in Mandalorian,
I mean, I know he's been in the Spike Lee joints, but
The
yes,
Boys.
Mandalorian, The Boys. He's been in Breaking Bad, obviously. So
Mm-hmm.
Giancarlo Esposito has been around the block. So
Yes.
I don't think I've ever not liked him. But he plays Leo Papp /
Ray.
Ray Vernon,
And then
and he's our anti-hero. So
yeah, our main character.
yeah, he's the one that is really the ringleader setting up this heist.
He's the one who decides what they're stealing because of past events.
Yeah, yeah.
So next we have was it Rufus Sewell, who plays
Rufus Sewell.
Sewell. Okay, sorry. Who plays Roger Salas.
Yeah, so I don't really know much about Rufus Sewell. Apparently, he's been in The Man in the High Castle, which was a show I think I tried to watch way back in the day.
I never really watched it.
And back in the day was 2016, just in case you didn't.
This is back in the day.
But his character is like he's the mark. Ooh,
I like the terminology.
he's the mark. So he runs a business.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of business he's in, like like Roman Michelle when they're like, do you have a businesswoman special? And the waitress is like, what kind of business are you in? And they're like,
Oh my god.
crickets. So I don't know what he does for a living, but he holds people's money and shit. Like in a vault.
He offers security for people's assets.
Okay, so he's a security guard. He's a highfalutin security guard.
Yeah,
whatever.
fair enough.
But he built like this big vault that's like really high tech and shit, and he has history with Giancarlo Esposito's character Leo Papp / Ray Vernon.
Oh my god.
Who's next?
So up next we have, was it Paz Vega?
I would say Vega.
Okay. And she plays Ava, who I personally liked, I think, as one of the most intriguing characters.
Yeah, I don't know much about Paz, but about Miss Vega. But yes, Ava was Leo Papp's lawyer,
Yes.
attorney.
She's also the gun person of the crew. She supplies the arms.
Yeah, which I didn't get, but
It's interesting how they
I
played
got
her
it
as
at
that.
I was like, oh, I get that now.
She's also kind of the fence. Like, she knows the people to sell the goods.
I don't know what the fence is. They said that word like 40 times in the show, and I'm like a picket.
No. So
Barbed wire.
a fence is the person who, once you have the stolen goods,
Chain link. What kind of fence?
privacy. No, she's the one who, once you actually have the goods, she knows the person who's able to sell them to get you the money.
Oh.
So they're fencing. They're selling your stolen goods.
See, I don't understand the word fan. I don't understand why we just can call it a middleman. Like, why can't it just be middleman
Fair enough.
or seller or buyer? Like those terms I understand. But we got to be like, let's launder the money. I'm like, washing it. What does that mean?
Making it
Basil?
clean so it's not dirty.
Next.
Next up, we have Rosaline Elbay, who plays, was it Judy?
Judy Goodwin.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about her either. Like,
A lot of these are very much unknown to us. Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of a new cast, not a lot of known actors.
yeah. And Judy is, I guess she's like tech bitch.
She is the chemist, so she's the one who knows how to, like, work explosives and rig up
Oh
stuff.
yeah, she's into alchemy and like old school RPGs. She's like, let me just mix a little bit of this, mix a little bit of elf essence.
Oh my god.
with the with Dust of the Realms and
We've been playing God of War.
God of War, Dust of Realms, and she's like, poof,
Done.
I've made you a plate. Like, so that's what she does. So that's her bullshit. And so next we have Jay Courtney, whom I have loved since Spartacus days.
He's a good throwback. I didn't like him in this though.
Right, but you knew he was in Suicide Squad, right?
Yes, that's where I knew him from.
But I didn't realize he was that Australian.
No, at all.
But I do remember him from Spartacus. Like I had because I mean, and I probably remember him from Spartacus because he was shirtless like all the time,
As was
just
everybody.
like everybody was in
Yeah.
Spartacus. But he was also a diehard, one of the diehards, the newer diehards.
Oh, was he the son?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But he plays Bob. Bob what? Goodwin?
Yeah, he's Judy's wife or husband.
Okay.
Judy is
I
his
couldn't
wife.
remember if it was the same thing.
Yeah.
So Bob is like super aggro.
He's the trigger. Okay, so he's the safe breaker. That's his role.
Oh yes.
But he's also the hothead.
Yes. Like he's like aggro frat guy.
Yeah.
Don't touch my woman. Like ugh. I think we have really two more we really need to go through. And I think the next one is what's her name?
Toddy Gabrielle,
whom I love.
did a great job in the show.
She was, I think most recent, she's been popping up in a lot of shit, but most recently, my recent memory that I remember her from,
just bring that up real quick. Okay.
Was the Adventures of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
That's
And,
okay.
Yeah, she's been like in a few things recently, and I've been like, I've liked her. She was also in something else that was like,
Well, I love how in this show, like every episode you saw her, obviously time had passed, but like she was so drastically different in every episode.
it's called wigs.
It looked good though.
No, that one was a shit wig. That flat one with the hard back.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
oh, that's a shit wig right there. She's been in something else that's like a sci-fi fantasy type thing, but she's I'm starting to really enjoy her popping up and shit. But she plays Hannah Kim,
Yeah.
who is basically Leo Pap's like long lost daughter.
Long lost, but like they know who each other are. They just were estranged.
Right. So and Hannah is kind of like
Jill will do that to you.
right. She's kind of like being watched over by Ava and also by Roger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so there's that whole thing of like, we all know, which I didn't understand in the show at first. I was like, do they know who she is? I'm like, oh wait, they do all know who she is.
Exactly.
But she works for Roger Salas. She's his chief information security officer or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then last but not least
is Peter Mark Kindle.
And for the longest time, every trailer I saw, I thought it was Jack Quaid, which is why I wanted to watch this because I love Jack
You
Quaid.
thought it was Jack Quaid?
And then I was like, because I'm like, oh, all dirty white boys look the same for no reason.
God.
I was like, is that where I am now?
Yeah.
But then
probably.
I realized where I know him from. He was from season 1 or 2 of Chicago Med.
Okay.
And I was like, he was the cute dirty lab guy. And I was like, oh, look at this cute little dirty lab guy. And then this, I was like, oh my God, he's like grown up cute dirty lab guy.
Oh my
God.
God.
I love him. He's adorable.
No, he did great in this.
He's
I
so
give
cute.
you. He
I love
was
him.
good.
What's his name again? Stan Loomis.
Yeah, Stan.
Which I feel like, isn't that the name of the killer in Scream 1?
No.
Isn't it?
So?
Or it was Billy Loomis.
Yeah, that was the one.
It was Billy Loomis, not Stan Loomis. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Scream.
Is one of his crew not listed here?
I don't know.
The driver isn't listed.
But he wasn't important.
He was in there very little.
So, but yeah, so Stan is basically, he was a cellmate of Ray Vernon / Leo Pap. That's how they know each other. But I don't know what his...
He was the acquisitions guy. Like, he could trade. Like, he's that. If you've ever seen something like on YouTube where like someone starts with a quarter and they end up with a Tesla, like, he's that guy. He'll trade you this, for that, for that. Like, he knows the connections. He knows who to trade with to get the items needed for the heist.
Still don't know what that means, but great. Awesome. So let's get into the show itself. Now, this is where it's going to be a little difficult now. Because I think my first episode, I don't remember what color it was. It might have been yellow.
Mine was green.
So my first episode, I believe, was supposed to be I think it was 3 days before the heist.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm so scared on how to talk about this. So we can talk about it in the order we think makes sense.
Okay.
So let's go back to the very beginning.
So and I told you, Netflix for me put mine very much in almost chronological order. Mine was like 6 years prior, 3 days prior, 1 day prior, 2 hours before, and then I had the one random like jump, like mid-season, and then it went to like the one that was pink, which is 6 months after, like because the heist is white, which is the very last episode you have to watch.
Right.
So mine was very much like in like chronological order.
See, so basically, you guys, the plot of this is like, so Giancarlo's main character, Ray slash Leo, is seeking revenge
Yeah.
for, um, he's been wronged by Roger Salas
Yep.
way back in the day because they used to have dealings, and
Well, some parts will be spoilers here, so warning if you want to jump ahead a little bit. I'll give you a second.
well, I'm not spoiling like anything crazy.
But they used to be partners. That's what I'm gonna say. That was the one thing.
Well, I just said they had dealings.
Yes.
They had dealings.
Yeah.
And Ray and Leo feel some type of way.
Exactly.
Ray slash Leo feel some type of way about, like, obviously Ray went to prison
Yes.
during all their dealings, and Roger now has a whole shitload of cash.
Roger is worth like $4.5 million.
Right.
And he holds in his safe a lot of illegal items. Is kind of what they allude to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The big ones they allude to is what the heist is for. So the whole thing is this heist is now planned around stealing $7 billion with a B dollars in bonds.
Right, which I still don't understand how bonds work, but whatever. I don't need to know. For the sake of this.
No, yeah, I get you.
But yeah, so he's basically, it's like a revenge thing. That's basically what this is. So that's why Ray puts this whole thing together. We do learn, we do see their life way back in the day and how they met and all this other BS that came to me kind of towards the end almost as well. I think they hit me right in the middle.
Mine was like maybe like 2 episodes before White. So like, yeah.
So yeah, so we kind of don't know the reasoning for. Oh, my first episode was the jewelry store heist.
Okay, so mine was the one where they were in prison and they actually broke out to start everything.
When he was in prison with Stan?
Yeah.
I was like, poor Stan had to get stitches.
That was my first episode.
So cute.
But yeah, so we've watched them in different episodes in different order, but I think we've come to kind of the same conclusion, and it made sense the way they did it. Like it filled in the holes that need to be filled in with information, I believe.
I do agree with that. So this whole heist thing, like we know that Leopold brings his whole team together to try and figure it out. And then he basically kind of loops in his daughter.
Yes.
And says, yo.
I need an inside man.
I know I haven't seen you in like, I don't know, 20 years, but hey, baby girl. I'm going to steal some money from your boss. So.
But he like fills her in on who his boss was.
Right. So and she's like, hi there, hello, we haven't talked to forever, what's your deal?
Exactly.
And then I think he gives her the full backstory, and she, gets on board, and she's like, okay, I'll help you with this. I'll be like your inside woman.
True.
I don't want to say because she's a woman. I'll be your inside woman and help you out and get this together because now I understand why you want to do this.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me.
And then other things is, so like Ava, she's always been the fence for Ray for his goods. Mm-hmm. So she's known Roger the whole time and kind of the backstory there. She's the one who actually not adopted, but like kind of guided Ray's daughter after whatever occurred between him and Roger happened.
Right.
And made sure she was good and set for life.
Yeah. But then we have to have a wrench.
Yeah.
In the plan. And the wrench is Federal Agent Abbasi, who is quite possibly one of the most annoying characters I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
not a fan.
I was
not a fan at all.
From moment one, I was like, this bitch needs to chill out. Like, I understand you're a federal agent. Like, I understand you're an FBI. I understand you got.
It was a dog with a bone.
It wasn't even like that. Like, it's like a dog with a bone is kind of cute. Like, you look at a dog and they're chewing their bone. You're like, this is adorable. Look at you having fun and shit. This, which we need to stop using that expression. This was she was. I don't know. Are people in law enforcement like this? I don't know.
She had like a grudge against.
Yeah, she was mad. She was mad. I'm gonna spoil this shit. She was mad, y'all. She was mad at Ava because when she was knee deep in cocaine and heroin and meth, Ava was like, yo, this bitch is knee deep in cocaine, heroin, and meth, and she's got a son, and they took custody away, so she mad.
Well, because
you mad because she got you on the
she got caught.
Because you got caught?
Yeah.
Why you mad at her? So that's why immediately I was like, don't fucking like you because you blame everybody else for your bullshit, and you want to be mad. Like, so I was out immediately. I didn't like her. I'm sorry. but she there because she's like, ooh, Ava's doing something, so I got to catch her. And What does this bitch do? What does this bitch sacrifice to try and come after Ava? Just tell everybody.
So
Spoil it, because I don't like her.
So here's the whole point is she was at this what like 6 years afterwards after the whole event.
I guess.
She's about to get custody again with her son.
Yes.
She's about to finally, for the first time, go pick him up at an airport, which took forever to convince her ex and his new wife to do.
Alone time.
Yes.
She's gonna be alone without supervision.
And she decides to blow it off and go chase Ava around, thus losing full attempts at custody. Because let me tell you why. Ava catches on, and genius move here, plants some cocaine on her, and gets her arrested by the cops, which is against her parole or whatever issue she was having. Oh my gosh! Like, girl, let it go.
Yeah,
let it go.
And then she's like, and then Ava's taking care of her nanny, who is undocumented.
Yeah,
and then she tries to use Ava's undocumented nanny as like a bargaining chip, and she's like, "You took my son away." It's like, no, bitch, you took your own son away doing all your bullshit.
Yeah.
First of all, we can stop talking about her because I'm angry.
You just gotta be like, leave me alone. Let me do myself.
So she's there breaking all the fucking federal rules and shit, trying to catch Ava. So she done roped in this cute little white dude to like do all her bidding for her because he likes her.
But
I don't think she ever really liked him. Do you think she ever really liked him?
I think she knew what she could get out of him and use him a little bit.
Because he was like, we should do this. And she was like, I don't want to break the rules. I'm like, bitch, you don't want to break the fucking rules.
So, but you stopped a little short. Let me tell you this. So you stopped a little short that, yes, she does go after Ava's nanny, who is now kind of like her house guest, to convince her to flip on Leo and Ray.
Right.
Leo, Ray, and the team.
Right. So she's trying to get, she's trying to get an informant out of this.
She was an inside woman.
I would have kicked her into the Hudson River. I'd have been like, bitch, do something, say something. But yes, so she's followed him around. She's trying to piece this whole thing together.
Yes.
During the entirety of the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought was kind of weird was like we kind of know, and I don't think this is a spoiler. We kind of know things go wrong. Which is a heist show. Things go wrong.
Well, and that's what, depending on how you watch this, if you saw Pink first, you knew things went wrong, which is like 6 months after the heist from the beginning. Like, you could have known from episode 1.
Right, which is kind of weird because it tells you at the beginning how far away from the heist it was.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's Pink, but there's an episode that's like just after the heist or 24 hours after the heist, or where like I think they're actually leaving. They're actually meeting back up, and it's like directly after the heist. Yeah. And immediately like some shit popped off. So you don't know what happened.
And everybody's like blaming each other and like, I don't trust you. So I don't honestly know you.
That's what happened. And then I had Pink.
Okay.
So I had just after the heist, then 6 months, and then the heist, which in a way was slightly annoying.
Well, I
actually, it wasn't.
I had Pink right before the heist too. So I knew like what happened 6 months after. So I kind of got like an idea of where things are going to go. And there is supposed to be a spin or like oh, I didn't see that coming moment. I saw it coming.
He always says this. He didn't see it fucking coming. He didn't see it coming. Anytime there's any other show with a twist, he's like, I knew that was going to happen.
I'll explain to you afterwards because I'm not trying to spoil it for the listeners, but I'll explain how I knew afterwards.
You didn't know.
I will crazy.
I had an inkling of something. My inkling was correct, but my path to the inkling was this, and the path they took was like, and I was like, oh, the way you got there, I didn't have that.
So let me say, I picked the person, like I got what they did, the reason why I had no idea.
Yes, I will agree with you there because I knew
the person I got because the whole like person that was with them most of the time.
I had a whole thought. I was like, oh, got it. And then when it came around, I was like, oh, I didn't go that path.
No, and the like weird explanation at the end of like why they did what they did.
Yeah,
had no inkling about that.
I have a question, not a spoiler.
Yeah,
where did Hannah get a baby?
She was pregnant the whole time.
When did we know that?
In Yellow.
From who?
From Roger and her girlfriend.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean from
Roger literally says, "Oh, when When he gave her the job of the person she replaced, like that she like framed,
Uh-huh.
he goes, "Oh, and the pregnancy doesn't bother me. Don't worry, I know she switched to decaf. Blah blah blah. Did it just when she,
He did say that. But
yeah,
like who's pregnant?
Hannah
But how did she get pregnant?
donor.
Okay.
You didn't pay
I
attention,
missed
did
that.
you?
That was episode 1, y'all, for me. I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that at all.
All right.
It was a lot of watching. So, you know. Okay, so we've discussed.
Yes.
I think it's time for us to move on to, should we do Bay of the Week? No, we're doing Watch or Not first. We're doing Bay of the Week first.
I thought we were trying to work it into our discussion.
Yes, we are. So, Watch or Not, you guys. So, this is where we decide. We talk about all these we liked, things we didn't like.
Yeah.
Is this show worth the watch?
It's a nice summation
or not,
section.
Or not. Yes, in summation. So, first off, the concept.
Yeah.
I think this concept was a cool concept.
Okay. Well, so the concept,
cool
like
concept?
the plot or the concept of you can watch it in any order?
And you can watch it in any order.
It was a cool concept.
I was like, that's a cool concept.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think this show benefited from that concept? I don't. I actually think this show would have benefited from a specifically curated order. Not necessarily chronological, but I think they should have picked a way for it to work, because the way I think if you would put Pink in whatever episode I watched before Pink at the beginning, I think that would have pushed me to watch more of it, because honestly, by the time
How did it get to this?
By the time I got to that point, I was like, I was only watching, honestly, because I was like, I have to get through this. And then once I got to those, I was like, okay, now how did they get there? So now I have to watch White and figure out what happened. So to me, I feel like this didn't really benefit the show.
So you wanted to see, and I like how stories do that, where like they show you how it ends up, and you're like, well, how did this mess happen? I gotta watch to figure it out. Like, you wanted that.
Right. I think that's what I kind of wanted. And I think they could have done that a little bit and then made it chronological after. But I don't know.
And here's
that's my opinion.
And the thing I take away from it is, I like how they built, like mine. Yes, it was very chronological. Blah 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 blah. I like how they did that because it got me invested in the characters. It made me build and see how each person was connected to Leo or Ray, like how he was able to pull them in and use them to help with his heist. I like how they built that in.
But see, I thought they were still. I didn't. The only episode I think that I enjoyed,
okay,
that I liked, that I was like, oh, this is kind of like, and it could be biased because I love a nerdy white boy. Was the episode when they were in prison? Because I thought that was kind of cool.
It was a fun episode.
I think what it was that they gave Stan almost his own episode.
Yeah.
With Rayvern and Leo Papp.
Yep.
And I think they didn't really do that with anybody else. Everybody else was kind of like inferred or kind of just like pieced in a way. And I understand they couldn't really do that, but that episode felt like
Stan's episode, you still introduced Judy and Bob,
right?
And you still saw them,
but it still felt like an episode about those two to me.
But Pink was almost an episode about Bob and his like 6 months after to go get revenge on them.
But no one else had like so to me it just I just think it would have benefited from like an actual like structure, but that's me. But regardless, like if we talk about the plot,
yeah, I think if I go back and look at them and piece together how they would have been viewed and how you could have moved around, I still think the plot would have been revealed in the same manner because.
But what did you think about the plot?
I liked it. It wasn't my favorite heist show, but it still kept me intrigued.
Out of the many that we have watched.
True. But I mean, I've watched like Ocean's 11 and things like I've watched heist movies. But yes, we don't talk about movies. But yeah, I would say the plot did what it needed to do. How he, and again, not to spoil things, like what he did to get revenge on Roger was a little more than just stealing the money, and I didn't really like put that together. Like, oh, like that was kind of cool that he did that to get revenge on him this whole time.
Here's the thing:
there was an eye flutter.
Like, okay, like this is so stupid. Oh, I like the idea of. I think I like the idea of the plot.
Okay,
because heist, sure,
yeah,
sign me up. Like,
sure,
I'll be aboard. It's just gonna go wrong. Let's do it. But then I was like, You did all this bullshit to make a point.
What's
I
wrong?
don't
What's wrong?
think like the payoff to me. I'm like
What's wrong with
you
having a
could have sent an
point?
encrypted email with this information. Like you could have sent a FedEx. You could have sent a notarized package with this information if this is what you really wanted to do.
Yeah, but he's not going to end up with $7 billion if he did that.
Try to forget about that point.
He still wants the $7 billion.
I forget about that part. I think I'm mixing in like because I honestly think the ending was fucking stupid too. If I'm being very honest, I think the way that they ended the plot, I was
Well,
like, that's fucking stupid. I'm
so
annoyed.
so here's the thing. Roger's character was always about the next heist, always about the money. He was always about that thrill, and he
Yeah.
can never give it up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where Ray, the entire time, was like, okay, I'm going to take everything he's built, the money, and screw him over.
I mean, that's fine, but I think that, and that's fine. I will concede that. I guess I understand that. I just think that the ending was really fucking stupid. I was like, I don't.
Well, did you notice that, like,
Did you see them try to pull a Sopranos?
yeah, with the pink fade too, where like they walk down the tunnel?
Mm-hmm.
So and my question is, who's left at this point? There's only two people.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
But
We're not going to talk
no,
about
but my question is there gonna be another season?
that. I hope the fuck not.
That's what I was like who's left? Is there gonna be another season?
Oh,
All right.
I'm not. I think they think. I think I did read. I think the creator was like he would want to be an anthology.
I like that.
So if they did something else, maybe it wouldn't be a heist, but it would be in the same kind of vein. Which I think they
Okay,
should continue to
okay.
explore this concept, because the concept to me does seem really cool.
Yeah.
That regardless of how you watch it, you can come up with a full story. Did I still come up? Did I come up with a full story? Yeah, I did. I think the part about that that's kind of annoying was that at the end, I was like, as we noticed, I was forgotten
Yeah, exactly.
things, and I was like, well, wait, how did that happen? Or wait, I actually was watching Pink, I think, and I was like, I feel like I missed something.
Mhm.
Like every few minutes, I was like, did I miss that? Like, did I miss an episode? I actually stopped
I don't think
it,
you did.
went back and was like, well, no, I didn't. But I thought, I just
No, I get you. I understand. Yeah.
so I don't know. But for me, it was fine. But let me go. Let you know. I think one of the saving graces of this show, to me, honestly, in my opinion, was really Jay Courtney, because the Pink episode,
yeah.
to me was like a fully different tone
Oh,
than the rest.
it was from his
It was
point of view.
it was a little comedic, which I
Yeah.
was like, now this, I would have loved this like throughout. But the other thing that would have been weird is like people who got Pink first probably thought this was a completely different type of show,
Exactly.
because they had those comedic kind
Yeah.
of ridiculous aspects in it. But Pink was one of my favorite
Well,
ones.
Green had some comedic aspects to it, which so Stan's kind of like there's one that really followed Stan around Green, and there's one that really followed Bob around Pink, and they both had a very comedic feel to them.
I didn't think Green was that comedic. I thought Pink was like full on like comedic because of the guy whose name I can't remember, but I can picture his face. He was in Newsies way back in the day. Don't know his name.
Okay.
But I thought that was kind of like, if I'd seen that episode first, I would have had a completely different tone about this show.
Probably.
But to me, I really think the most interesting and the best character, honestly, was Jay Courtney. We always pick a Bay of the Week, you guys. And a
Yeah.
Bay of the Week, to remind you, is someone that really had us like just like basically the best performer in the show.
Yes.
And for me, sometimes it's the hottest person.
Well, it's the person you want to see more of, the person who had the most intriguing aspects that made you want to come back and like watch the show.
Right. And I mean, I think the base version of me would have been like, I love Stan Loomis because he's fucking adorable.
Yeah.
But thinking back on it, I was like, Jay Courtney was cool. Was he abusive? Yes. But like his character to me seemed to be the most kind of like weirdly interesting.
He had that, and this is gonna be a weird comparison. So let me finish before you jump in and scoff at me. See, right there.
Well, I don't like that you're telling me what I'm gonna do.
He had the same kind of general feel to me as like Michael Scott from The Office. Like I want to punch him every episode. Like the annoyance of his character, like guttural. Like I was like, oh my god, you are like, how has no one stopped you yet? Kind of mentality.
I don't know if I found him annoying because to me it's like, do I want to punch that guy? I'm like, I'm more terrified of him if I'm being honest.
But that's the thing is, he also was the most memorable character to me.
Yeah, to me too.
Yeah, so I agree with you that he is definitely a saving grace and a part that stands out. But it's because he was so just like in my gut, I could not stand to watch him because of how, like you said, abusive and annoying, and like you just knew he was gonna be the ignition to this ticking time bomb.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought it was great. Is he our Bay of the Week?
Yeah.
Let's crown him Bay of the Week. So let's say, was this a watch or not? We'll say yes or well, watch or not. I think we've explained our thoughts. What do you say? What say you? I'll go. He does this all the time. So for me, I'll let you gather your thoughts. For me, I am gonna say I don't think you need to. Like, I think that you would watch this and get to the end and be like, "What the fuck? That was a waste of my time." The concept is cool. I think if you're gonna watch it, watch it knowing it's gonna disappoint you in the end. But personally, I actually that might be why I missed some stuff. I actually fell asleep on the first episode.
So you're telling on yourself now. I
Yeah.
see how it is.
I don't care. I'm honest. I fell asleep on the first episode. That to me was, I was like, this is gonna be a hard one. I could just tell. So I didn't really get interested till the very, very end
Yeah, yeah.
of my selection.
Fair
you
enough.
know? But I don't think you need it. I think you can let it go. Honestly, don't like you can let this fade into obscurity. See if they come out with the season 2 of this concept, and maybe that one will be better. But I think you can skip it.
I'm gonna say watch it.
Okay.
Yes, there are maybe only 4 episodes literally worth watching.
This could have been a 6-episode series.
Yeah, the whole length of it, there's some throwaway episodes that, okay, they gave you some side story and you could have thrown that in other ones.
The one that was right after the heist, 34 minutes. It was punchy. I was like, yes, yes, yes. This is what I needed. Give me a nice little capsule to swallow.
But and even the heist episode seemed a little slow.
I actually didn't mind that episode. That episode was kind of
But
interesting.
it seemed, but it filled in all the
It
whole.
did.
It filled in all of the like, why are these people acting this way? Because I've seen Pink actually. Like, I need to know what happened to make Pink happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
if,
agree.
if you had like the 30 minutes after White, Pink's like the heist, and then like 6 months after, and maybe like the episode of Green where you meet Stan for the first
So
time.
you're falling into my point of like this show would have made more sense if it actually was structured.
I won't say structure. I'm saying, but like, those are the only 4 episodes you needed.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying in any specific order, but like you didn't really need all the other ones that gave the backstory. I mean, you need to know why he's doing it, but that could have been thrown in anywhere else.
Got you. Because
So-
that federal agent had her own fucking episode.
Yeah, I know.
That fucking bitch.
So like, there's a couple things where I think it's worth watching.
Like she needed a comb. Like I was like, can you get a different barrette? Like, can we get her a brush? She just looked so strung out. I'm like, if I was your superior, I would think you were on drugs too, because you look strung the fuck out.
But
Every time I see you,
I would say there's about half of it's worth watching, but you have to watch all of it to get there. So I would say it's worth watching just to get those 4 episodes that are worth watching.
all right, live your life. I go tell you how to live your life. Well, you heard it here first. I must skip this shit, and he is gonna watch this shit. Okay, so
I'm saying watch those 4, like Green, Pink, White, and I forget the other color.
colors. You know the colors. Go through the rainbow. Just go through the whole rainbow. What color? You should watch violet too. What about magenta? Okay. What
About red, orange, yellow, green, blue?
What about burnt sienna? Was that an episode color?
No.
But yes, that's the we think. So thanks guys for
Yeah.
tuning in for our first like recorded episode. This is so cute. It's adorable.
Okay.
So if you guys don't want to always watch the video version, please subscribe subscribe regardless.
Yeah.
On wherever you get your podcast, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, Podbean, just subscribe and download our back episodes.
Yep.
Because there's some good ones back there. I always suggest a Stargirl episode. It's like season 2, episode something.
And a re-release of it like in season 3.
Oh yeah, we released it last year because I can't get enough of it. I think it's the one that I hate hearing us. I hate hearing myself.
Well,
It's the one.
yeah.
It's the one that I will go back and listen to and giggle to myself about. I actually think
I haven't re-listened to it in a long
we were
time.
in peak form on that one. I think. But for sure, we also have a Patreon.
Yep.
All the links will be below.
In the description.
Yes, and hit subscribe, you guys.
Like the video.
We have to do that now. I forget about that. Hit subscribe. Doo-doo. Hit subscribe.
Yeah. Subscribe. Like the video. Leave a comment below.
Yeah. Tell us what you guys think, what you like, what you don't like.
Yes.
We love feedback as long as it is constructive feedback.
He will come for you.
I won't.
In the comments, he will come for you.
I won't. I won't. We'll engage people who deserve to be engaged with.
True. I agree.
Let me say that. But really, thank you guys for listening. And because we'll be doing video, but we will be doing a weekly release recap episodes of The Last of Us.
Yes, but that is one where I don't think there's gonna be a video for them because we will be recording over phone, so it's mostly gonna be audio only.
Right. I can't be coming out here to the bowels of this county like multiple times a week.
It's a drive for you.
It's too hard. But those will be on our normal, all of our normal podcasts.
Yes.
We'll release those during the week as well. And going forward, usually we have an episode every week, but since we're going to be doing this capsule with The Last of Us, we'll have an episode of a new show every other week.
Yes.
And then when Last of Us ends, we'll go to our normal weekly scheduled program.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for listening, tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. And I'm Jay.
I'm MJ.
And that's Watch or Not. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. You've been listening to Watch or Not with Jay and MJ.
Interact and give us suggestions on what to watch at watchornotpodcast@gmail.com.
You can follow us on Twitter at watchornot_pod.
And don't forget about Instagram, you guys, at watchornotpod.
Don't forget you can support the pod by joining our Patreon at Watch or Not with Jay and MJ.
And subscribe and leave a review wherever you guys listen to podcasts. Talk to you soon.